Hello everyone, this is Maffuman coming to the StarCraft Star Battle. We got a 6-on-6 ship-building action game starring Raven. Raven, who is an Arbiter with 1.81 speed and no abilities right now. We got Piping on in with a Void Ray. Void Ray starts off with Blink. We're going to go back, double back, seeing if you can spend that money, and he spends it on Phase Disruptors. John the Frigate has 1.71 speed. Ghetto SC starts off with Dreadnought as well as Protective Field. Lyco coming on in with those 5 shields as a Colossus. Yoda coming on with that Plague. Looks like we got Nemesis down here. Nemesis is a carrier. He starts off with 5 interceptors right there. Diesel coming in with Evolve in field upgrades. Bruce T pushing on in there with 5 interceptors as well. Also has a Particle Disruptors. Golden Angel the Void Ray has Cloak, which is super good but super expensive. It looks like Stardance does launch his Scourge at Ghetto. Ghetto actually did use his Protective Field right there just in time right there. Data Jesus and Lyco trading off. They both have 5 shields to do less damage. Beautiful Plague coming on in. If you have one ability, you better use it perfectly, and he definitely did. Looks like he does burn. He's going to be burning down Lyco as well. Stardance is going to launch his Scourge. Not quite. Doesn't quite hit the energy. Scourge are really good. They just do a whole bunch of damage, but also cost a whole bunch of energy. Looks like Raven, the Arbiter, going to go in there. He doesn't have any abilities that he upgraded, but he does have his recharge shields that he's using. Ghetto SC decides to push on in there with that as well. Looks like Golden Angel is going to use his Cloak button, and it looks like he's going to be able to retreat. But with that, he just burned most of his energy to do that whole thing. But with that, the Arbiter and Dreadnought combination was enough to push down the back Bruce T and all that. Looks like Nemesis is going to warp on back home to base. He's going to have his interceptors fly around. Let's see, Pipey is going to be able to catch him. Looks like Nemesis is going to have to retreat. He's had 1.51 speed because he has 5 interceptors. And will Yoda come on? He has enough for a Plague. He has to be careful not to hit him, but luckily Pipey moved back just in time. But John was not quite in the position to push him back. Diesel was tanking for him right there. Looks like with that, they weren't able to pick up a carrier kill. The carrier actually, because he was warping back to base, had to be stopped. When you are warping, you do take any damage, you do stop warping there. Looks like Stardance is going to push on up there. He's going to be able to try to do some damage to Lyco. He still has 275 energy potential, just putting all his money into there. But with that, the red team is going to have to retreat. Looks like the money is basically even up top. And Data Jesus and Lyco were just trading off who's you know, the thickest Colossus right there. And with that, Raven is going to have 549 to upgrade some ability. Yoda looks like he's got that 550. Lyco 251 and John 263. Ghetto is going to be in the back there, 500-ish. But 2 people on him right there. Looks like Pipey, we're going to keep an eye on you. He's got Blink, so he probably should be okay. So instead of Golden Angel, who went for Cloak in the very beginning of the game, he went for Blink. Blink's a little bit less of an energy-intensive upgrade, but it also is not good protective against Nemesis, who upgraded his Plasma Barrage. Plasma Barrage, as well as Daz of Jesus, is going to be probably going to be hurting. Boom, taking out Pipey with 665 monies. And because of Nemesis just hit him right there, the Plasma Barrage, fantastic ability, upgraded a little bit of time as well. 3240 damage over 3 seconds, really blasting it out there. Bruce T has 5 interceptors as well. He's got a bunch of money, 1265 already. And let's see what he ends up putting that into. I mean, pretty much any ability as a carrier is fantastic. It's interesting that Nemesis went for the Plasma Barrage. It's a good ability, it's just, you know, kind of particular. It does a whole bunch of damage in a giant gun, which looks really cool, and in that particular situation, it definitely worked out well. Lyco going to try to push. He is the tank, he's a shield tank. His shields are only about like a third of the way right there. Ghetto's going to try to push up. Looks like he has repair bots as well. Kind of the combination protective field repair bots that you kind of always see. Looks like he also went for that extra health right there. Standard things to do. Diesel's going to move on out there. He's got 399. Now he does have the ability to upgrade in outside of base. But as a Leviathan, there are some cool things that you do want to save your money up for a little bit. So let's see what he ends up doing that. Because he hasn't spent it, you can kind of assume he's going to go back to base for, I don't know, Frenzy? You know, the armor thing. Any of those are good things to do. Just because you can spend your money doesn't mean you have to. And sometimes it is very tempting to be as a Leviathan, just say, okay, well, I'm going to press all the buttons I can. Saving up is okay. Now, it looks like Golden Angel gave Pipey, who is the dead Void Ray. There is no respawn in this game, so he gave the dead Void Ray control of this Observer. The Observer buddy is definitely going to help out because Golden Angel not only can cloak, but did cloak already. Kind of committed to that. Once you upgrade something, you can't un-upgrade it, so they know that cloaking is a potential danger, and they're going to have the Observer ready for that right there. Scourge slapping against the Protective Field. Protective Field gives you an extra 50 armor, so the Scourge who do 250 per are only doing 200. You don't do math on there, but that actually worked out pretty well. Beautiful Plague, by the way, from Yoda. Bruce T has put a lot of his money into Tempest. These Tempests are at 15 right there. That's where he put all that money into. You can tell when you're playing the game, you can't see what upgrades people have, so you can only see their base things right here. So okay, doesn't have very much speed, doesn't have very many interceptors. What does he have? Well, you see these Tempests. You kind of assume what they have based on what they don't see. Data Jesus is showing us that he has a Hardened Shield. Hardened Shield reduces the damage of the next 55 incoming attacks for a maximum of 50. So John, who is shooting Backlash Rockets, doing 74 damage each rocket, are only doing 50 when he's using that Protective Field. That only gets better as the game goes on. Backlash Rockets will only ever do more damage if you upgrade them, and you know, reducing it to 250 is fantastic. Bruce T Tempest right there, doing 440. Now 440 minus 50 is still a whole bunch of damage, but he is the tank, so that is a role he may have to play. Raven gonna move on up there. He's got the Electromagnetic Storm, area of effect doing stuff to all the people, and then Cloaking Field to protect everybody else. But not good if you get hit by a Scourge right there. Not enough to kill him in base, but almost. I mean, one or two more Scourge, and he is still gonna be a pretty dangerous person right there. Looks like Lyco is going to push on up there. He's got Protective Field as well. That's always a good thing. Again, reducing to a maximum of 50. So Tempest 440 down to 250 is fantastic. 1-2 tanks right there. John pushing on up there. He's got a 1.82 speed. Got a quick reload to launch his missiles again. Instead of the 4-second cooldown, he shoots 1-2 rounds. Bruce T, Tempest right there. Now, even though you know, all the teams right there, and even though they were able to farm, even though they have had some nice defensive sieges set up, they're going to have to retreat in time. Looks like they definitely will. If they take any damage like that, it's pretty going to be superficial. Good backing up timing. And Bruce T is going to see if he's going to put that 830 money into Stardance's 113. Going to keep an eye on Golden Angel back there. And let's see what he ends up doing with that as well. Data phase is 470. Now, what the Tempest in the very beginning of the game do is extend how much time you can spend at base. Now, they also do have a player up advantage, but with the Tempest, you can sit at their base and farm in the Goldilocks zone for a little bit longer. So far, it's not too out of proportion, especially with two carriers. With two carriers, you're going to feel like you don't have enough money no matter what you do, but that is starting to be significant once it's past like 600-ish. John does have to retreat. Quick reload doesn't do anything against the interceptors. Looks like Yoda is going to launch his Contaminate. Contaminate is going to slow down how much damage the interceptors are doing. Also does a little bit of damage to them. Takes them out right there. Golden Angel. Now there's a little bit of a Void Ray chase right there. The Observer is on them, is spotting it, but will they commit to attacking? It doesn't seem like they quite will. They can detect him if he does attack, but they think they've looked at the minimap, seen Diesel back there, and you know, kind of going for that. Looks like these Tempests are just the House Tempest. He's going to Diesel launches his Bioplasmic Discharge against Yoda. Yoda doing a bunch of damage. Interceptors coming in. Nemesis Interceptors at 9, doing 30 damage each shot, and it looks like that may be pretty decent right there. It looks like Raven is perfectly going to use his his Cloaking Field, creating a little bit area of protection around him, but he's also visible no matter what. A Lyco moving on in there, going to be attacking right there, going to try to do as much damage to Bruce T's Tempest as possible, and looks like that's going to be right there. John is going to push. And once the interceptors, you can only have 3 on the board at a time. So we got Nemesis interceptors right here. We got Bruce T interceptors right here. We got the House Tempest right here. Right now, this is the perfect time to do as much damage as possible. They could actually even take out this base if they really get lucky. Looks like Yoda is going to push on up. He doesn't want to go too far because he is not a tank, but he is going to run into Nemesis' interceptors and going to use that to contaminate so they don't shoot as often. They, in fact, shoot down basically almost none. Once in a while instead of every 3.3 seconds. And that tower is quite hurt. Ghetto is going to have to push on up there. He's using his protective field. He has 6 armor, 32 plus 50. He's just getting closer and closer, getting shot and shot. And Stardust is going to launch his interceptors. And will that be actually? Oh, beautiful attempted electromagnetic storm on the Scourge right there. Enough time and passes and it will kill them, but not at that close range. And again, Ghetto's going to have to retreat. He is the tank, but he can't take firepower of that magnitude for that long. The interceptors, the Scourge re-establish themselves onto John. Beautiful using the gases as cover right there. John doesn't want to going to fly into that either. Looks like Nemesis is going to launch his Tempest right there as well in the little like hole area. We got Jet of Jesus turning around, using his hardened shields whenever he possibly can, and looks like Ghetto's going to take another launch of Scourge, another couple Tempests, another biopassive discharge. The Dad of Jesus is following up as well. We got 1, 2, and more Tempests on the other side, and will this push them? We got a Stardust attacking. Now Yoda did use his Plague against 1, 2, 3 ships right there. Will that be enough? The Cloak is going to be able to protect Ghetto as he retreats. And with that, the Tempests are going to auto-shoot. You can't tell the Tempest what to shoot at. They just are spawned by the carrier, but not independently controlled by the carrier. So what they do is they just, wherever you plant them down, they go from there to base, shooting whatever big targets are in their way. And the battle station is only 351 away. If Lyco and Yoda were not in a position to take any damage, the Bruce T Tempest would just take out the battle station, because they do 500 versus massive 240 versus structures. So 1, 2 shots would boom take them out. We got a Ghetto SC pushing back up there. We got a more Tempest, 1, 2 rounds of Tempest. Ghetto is the tank. He's gonna have to speed more tanky and hit even harder. We got a Raven shielding as much as possible. Raven the Arbiter shielding as much as possible. And with that, they're gonna try to push. Possibly take out Stardust. Stardust is gonna have to retreat. He does not have Dark Swarm. Dark Swarm would definitely save him right there, but he's not. Doesn't have it. He's gonna be taken out right there. Stardust is taken out by John. We got Dad of Jesus turning around, shooting his little things. He has mostly a shield build. He mostly has energy, hardened shields, as well as thermal lance. Vortex is, boom, gonna hit. Whenever you see a carrier kind of like getting a little bit too close, you can kind of wonder what they're doing, and what he did was Vortex from Bruce T. And with that, interceptors have some time. The entire team can start to get healed up. Now, in this version of Star Battle, both the mothership can heal multiple targets. Version 3.5, you can only heal 1. In Omega, you can heal multiple. With that makes the team be able to retreat a little more effectively right there. We got the Observer. Observer fighting Raven. Now Observer can't attack, but he can spy right there. Will the red side commit to attacking? Golden Angel's going to try to retreat. Will he be able to blink out in time or warp back in time? Always mess up the 2, and he does. Electromagnetic Storm, not quite enough. So close, go close. Yoda going to retreat. Now Yoda has a 467. He has a Psyblast. Psyblast does extra damage versus Bio and Shields. One thing that's definitely Bio is Diesel right there. But he also is relatively weak. 12,200 life versus 16,000 life. Right the first time and the second time. Ghetto SC is going to move on in there. And we have the Tempest wall being set up. The battle stations taking a bunch of damage, so the Raven and Yoda do have to fly in there. Nemesis Tempest. We got Bruce T Tempest. The interceptors are flying back there as well. Will that be enough? Now Ghetto's back there. Ghetto is calling for a warp because they're gonna have to fly into the attack anyway. They don't want to fly into this mess. So what they're gonna do is go around them. We got the 2 tanks right there. Now both the carriers are in the protective zone. Both of them do have Vortex, and once the And the Vortex does hit 1, 2, but it also, Bruce T flies into there as well. And it looks, Dead of Jesus, I mean, and the Tempest wall is being set up. Now the Tempest will attack or they'll move forward to the base if they're not being attacked. So what they're going to do is just launch them right there. That is a fake Raven. Raven, the Arbiter, set up a hallucination. And that's going to be quite there. We got these Tempests being shot, shooting at whatever they possibly can. Golden Angel has the cloak, and he's being detected right there. And will they need another Vortex? One is still possibly available. The Tempest being launched whenever possible and doing some damage. And we got a Diesel flying around, being the tank. Quite a bunch of health, but with that, Golden Angel does survive all of that. And not quite enough to pick up a kill. Now the Tempest, they're only 3 men at a time because you can't, whatever reads there. Carrier can only warp in more Tempests after their complete destruction. Basically, you can't warp in more than 3 at a time. If there's 3, then you can't make any more. If there's 2, you can't make any more. 1, you can't make any more. But you have to have more, no more than 3. John retreating. And what they're gonna have to do is these Tempests are just gonna fly directly there. You have to kind of avoid them. And it looks like John's going to try to retreat as well. Now, he's the damage dealer at a far distance. He's got 10 shield. Now, he's a Terran ship, and usually Terran ships really want to go for the armor. Let's compare that to, Ghetto has a whole bunch of armor. He's a Dreadnought. But because frigates, their armor count is so low, you don't get that much of a bonus. You actually would rather just get the rechargeable shields in base, because they... frigate health is not repairable other than base. So, oh no, he's going to be taken out. John does not want to fly into that. He can do some far damage dealing, but doesn't want to take that many Tempests. There's a little cluster bomb right there. Beautiful contaminate used against the Interceptors. That means the Interceptors are not going to shoot as much as they were, doubling the time that they take. Beautiful fake moving in there, being taken. The electromagnetic storm does 125 damage to light units, 1475 to massive, another 270. So one can almost take out a bunch of those. Now, right in this little protective zone, we're going to launch some Tempest. We're going to launch a Vortex. Vortex hitting both of them, and Golden Angel was being spied upon, but that's not going to quite be enough. Don't fly into the thing. It's actually relatively hard to kill an observer, but it is possible. Now, these Tempest didn't want to be that close, but they couldn't shoot, so they would be. And Golden Angel's going to move on in there. He's got 10 prismatic beam, 100 plus 50 whenever he charges, and that is actually quite a bunch. Lyco being hit. Death of Jesus launching his Thermal Lance doesn't have enough to do too many shots of those. But Thermal Lance does attack and do more does do damage even if you can't see the target. Tempest 1, 2, 3, and the House Tempest come on in. This is a zone of attack right here. This is where the line is set up. Diesel launching his things. He actually is quite hurt. 1 or 2 more shots possibly would take him out. Now he does have Bioplastic Discharge, does have Acid Spray, he does have Rapid Regeneration, 450 to support his abilities. He is a little bit lower. He probably would want a little bit more, but he's got 1700 health. And don't want to be hit too much by Backlash Rockets. 123 times 8 at 11 range is going to be quite good. Rip Ray Warheads could be helpful. You notice that it says 123 damage plus 71 point to light. And what that means is that if he uses his Backlash Rockets, they do an area effect. If that area of effect hits, an Interceptor or a Tempest, that would do 71 damage per missile. But Nemesis is now in the time where he's going to be quite hit. Yoda going to try to hurt her as well. We got Diesel trying to tank, but he's in a position where he's not quite enough, and the Nemesis is taken out by the combination of Lyco and Ghetto, as well as Yoda's Psyblast. And Dad of Jesus is now in a position where he's going to try to put a little pin on Ghetto as well. He has 275 energy. He's going to try to use that Thermal Lance as much as possible to do that. Lyco, shield tank without any shields, Interceptors on him. Ghetto is retreating because he doesn't have very much health, and there we go. Lyco is taken out as well. Carrier and the Colossus were hurt right there. Golden Angel being spied upon, 300 life, but not quite any follow-up damage to take him out. Yoda trying to do as much damage as possible. It's now a 4 versus 4. And Diesel, basically whenever he has 100 health or 100 energy, he can recharge his life. He does that right there. Of a potential 17,000 life, he can recharge 2,391 of that. There's probably a better way of reading that, but I can't do it. We got that of Zezus running away. That Bruce T, his Tempests cannot be warped in right now. Now they can be, but is that going to be enough? That Jesus is going to be pushed up. Shields being used and taken out by John. I mean, everybody's right there, but John was the final killer right there. We got these Bruce T Tempests, 22 upgrades, and definitely blocking that area, so they have to go up and around, up and around. We got Interceptors moving on in. Now, just because Bruce T went for Tempest doesn't mean he forgot about his Interceptors. It's actually a big part of the hard part about carriers is that the most important thing to buy is everything. You know, we got Interceptors costing a lot of money. We got Tempest costing a whole bunch of energy and money. And you know what? You'd have to do both. It's super easy to put all your money into Tempest, and then your weak Interceptors. You have really weak Interceptors. You don't have too much Tempest. You want to kind of do both whenever possible. So, Raven gonna use his feedback. Leviathans are not like the most energy intensive ships, but if you can drain it, it is a little bit less effective. It makes him buy more energy. You start off at 225. He upgraded to 475. It costs more money every time he does it. Golden Angel. He does have the blink. He does have the cloak. He does have the Chrono Rift right there and charge. So he does want to do some damage. Now he's going to attack, but I think he realizes that Raven Arbiter is not the correct Raven Arbiter. That was some Raven, but not so Raven. We got Bruce T up farming right there. Again, he has 25 Interceptors and 22 upgraded Tempests. The Interceptors will, because they have 25 upgrades, you can basically cut that armor in half. So 12.5 armor, 12.5 shields. Ghetto looks like he has about 9 upgrades right there. John 470 money, Raven 400-ish, and Yoda 795. Getting contaminated, he already had that a long time ago. And it looks like a Golden Angel. Now he is the attacking Void Ray, but Void Rays are not necessarily very good at base. They can do a whole bunch of damage, but the tower is always going to shoot further than they do, and it can always detect them. So if you want to dive, you're going to have to take some damage. Tempest going to shoot whatever they possibly can, and even though they do more damage versus hallucinated ships, it's not quite enough to one-shot them. Boom! Now it is. Diesel going to move on back. He has the energy, but he doesn't want to commit to being attacked. He doesn't have to be. This is a beautiful area for the three remaining blue people to be. The Tempest can do some damage. Bruce T's Vortex is ready, but there's no reason to stay any longer than you really have to. But even with that, with 3 people, they have more money that they've spent than or that they've collected than the red side with 4 people, which is relatively standard for having a carrier, relatively standard for having a Void Ray as well. But it is just showing that like they are like per capita richer. Ghetto was seeing moonwalking into his own destruction right there with the Golden Angel moving in, being attacked, now being detected as well. And with those missiles and with that, John's going to keep on trying to push. He does have the burners. He's going to possibly want to use them as well just to keep on pushing, We got Golden Angel taken out by John, launching waves and waves of missiles. And now it's just a 4 versus 2. Carrier and Leviathan on the blue side. We got a Dreadnought, Frigate, Arbiter, and an Overlord on the red side. Now, the carrier is pretty good at defense, though, because you've got the Tempest, you've got the Plasma Surge, you've got the Vortex, so they can play defensively for a little bit. Is that going to be enough while the Tempests are getting ready? With 1461, let's see what he ends up putting that money into. Boom, you got some more Tempests, doing 74 damage with their 31 upgrades. And these Tempests still do 580. That's actually quite a bunch of stuff right there. And it looks like you know, John's going to shoot his missiles from 11 range, doing whatever he possibly can, hopefully using that the quick reload and afterburners to run away. He's got torpedo as well. I'm not sure we've seen that, but these interceptors are going to be attacking Raven. Raven, the Arbiter, is going to have to retreat with the entirety of the red side defending him. That wasn't an over exaggeration. It wasn't an overreaction right there, because the interceptors do 74 damage per interceptor shot, and they have 31, so let's cut that in half. You guys can do it about 15-ish, 16-ish armor each. So 20 laser battery is only doing 4, 16, right? One person who's extremely threatened by these interceptors is the Overlord right here. He can launch his Mutalisks. He can do some cool things like Contaminate, or he can do Plague against the interceptors, which is not a overreaction either. But his base Energy Blast is only at 5 range. That's basically what the interceptors are going to be attacking from, about 2 something. By the time you do some damage, they're already on you. Too late. And his armor is super low. His health is super low. So he can do damage. He's got some cool abilities. But the interceptors are very, very deadly. And even the hallucinations end up having the emergency shield as well. Kedowasi is just going to push up his tanking abilities. 48 base armor plus 50. 48 plus 50 is more than 71. But the interceptors do 74 damage no matter what. So when he's not under his shielded form, he is susceptible to interceptors. Even the tank is susceptible to interceptors. John pushing on up. John wants to do stuff, but this is a good place for Bruce T. He's going to launch his Vortex, and it does hit Ghetto. And now he's going to set up his Tempest. Now his Tempest really want to be back there, but they really can't stay there because there's nothing to shoot at. If the Raven or if Yoda were closer, then the Tempest would have shot them and would have been in a much better position. Right here, they're way too close. They're going to make John be able to escape, Ghetto be able to escape, Diesel boinging on the rocks just slightly. And he's kind of damage ignoring these Sky Furies, but you know, he's going to launch some interceptors right there. Going to try to retreat. Yoda doing a bunch. Torpedo is... Oh, speaking of this, the torpedo would have definitely taken him out. One more laser blast would also take him out. He's got about 1,000. He's using his rapid regeneration. 2544. Will this be enough? He's back in 7 and 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not quite. Oh, man. Diesel, the meat tank, being shielded right there, just barely by the carrier. With that, the Tempests are going to do some damage, try to attack Ghetto. See right there. Yoda, all them attacking. Will this be enough? They will not quite. And there we go. The tower is taken out. Instead of that, interceptors on Raven. Raven doing a whole bunch of damage. He has got you know, the shield. He's basically 13 armor is going to be out right there. His 18 phase disruptors are really tickling the interceptors, and his electromagnetic storm, which is his last burst of energy, was just enough to take them out. Diesel launching his bioplasmic discharge, retreating back to the safety of the Tempests. Tempests, again, just only get better with more. Now they do 580 still. They have 18 range to do that. And the Phantom's gone. John retreating, doing some damage. He's got the just laser batteries at 28. And it looks like Diesel has 1.81 speed, 20 armor, and 13 upgrades on his tentacles. Also knows how to retreat whenever he sees a Overlord suspiciously turning around to launch a plague at him. He's staying 6 feet apart, as I hope you guys all are as well. I miss human beings in corrections. It would be nice to see people. But we got these Tempests moving on up there, shooting on up there. Diesel using his Frenzy to retreat a little bit faster away. Vortex being used as well. Perfect timing right there. And that Dreadnought can't do damage. He's just a fake. We got Tempest shooting away. Because the fake was right there, they are a little bit further than Ghetto. Ghetto's going to have to retreat as well. He upgraded his range, so it's 9. But, you know, 18's double 9. So, you know, more. Looks like Raven, using that thing, he upgraded his recharge shield to 220 per second. It's not enough to go over the kinetic blast, but it is somewhat helpful right there. Looks like the money is now somewhat even because there's 2 on the red side and 4 on the or 2 on the blue side, 4 on the red side. And the blue doesn't want to advance too far out there. They know they have less ships. They know that they just used a vortex, so they do want to be in this little area. There isn't very much terrain on the map, but that does provide a little bit of protection. So will these Tempests as they were attacking. We just have 50 more seconds on the vortex cooldown. Both moving at 1.71 speed, 1.81 speed, and so Diesel is a Leviathan. He is a Zerg tank, and the Zerg tanks have the ability to just get more and more health as they go along. He upgraded his health from 1400 to 1900. Could even get more with his 513 money that he has, and he has lower armor count, but than the Dreadnought. But the entirety of him is repairable at base, and will this be enough? The torpedo does hit Bruce T. Bruce T is hit right there, but Diesel does survive. Will this be enough time for the tower to be taken out? In the meantime, the Gatling cannon and laser batteries are not that much damage, but this might be just quite enough. We got the Bruce T Tempest pushing on up there. Yoda Phantom, we got OSC Phantom. Shielding being used. Shielding is maybe just enough to be right there. We got the Warp Prism. Hurt, but not quite taken out. We got a range of missiles, and it does stay alive. It's staying alive. There it is. Now it's gone. Bruce T pushing on up there. He is the he is not supposed to take any damage, but he does have to do a little bit of it. He only has 1.71 speed, 3 shield upgrades. He's not designed to take damage, but he at this point kind of like has been putting so much money into interceptors. Look at this, 98 interceptors, 98 damage interceptors, 43. And Diesel's going to provide protection for these Tempests. The Tempests do the damage. He is the protecting unit. And the blue side is going to try to advance slightly, try to get that money that they possibly can. Red side going to retreat. Now they're not only the Overlord is really hurt, but everybody wants to retreat together because the interceptors are just doing so much damage. And with that, we're just gonna see what the red side can do, because they have to basically push up and try to take out either the blue side or their mothership. And the mothership is almost becoming easier, but with that, look at this. Blue side knows when to retreat. They know where to retreat. They've done this game a couple times. They know that with these Tempests, they have a little bit more protection. With the Vortex being ready, they have a little bit of a stop button as needed. And the red side can't go around them as easily because they're in this little canal. And they're going to retreat. 1.71 speed is maybe should be pumped up a little bit, but with of the carrier, you always want to do as much as possible. And looks like with that, they say, okay, well, we want to be defensive, let's be defensive. Let's go all the way back to base. Now, with this, the carrier is actually a fantastic defensive unit, and the Diesel has an advantage of being a healthy tank. All of him is repairable. As opposed to Ghetto, who has more armor, only the mothership could only heal up his whole armor, his whole health right there. Where the Leviathan is all repairable, so he can have 28 armor, all of it being repaired right now. Plus, he can repair himself. So he is in a fantastic ability. He's a little kind of like Chain Chomp right there, and he just has to provide health for and be the one who's being shot at. So these Tempests are not the one being shot at. Bruce T can try to use his vortex whenever possible, and if he can get OSC right there, OSC is going to try to push up right there. He has the protective field. Protective field is adding 50 as well to his base stat of 64. With that, again, the interceptors are doing damage only when the Dreadnought is not in the protective field. But with that, look at this. Bruce T's Tempests are as far away as possible that they could possibly be. The fake out Yoda right there is going to be taken out as well. But as the game goes on, these Tempests are just doing more and more damage from further and further away. Interceptors, very much still a danger right there. 162, 130 life. That's because they were used the the Plasma Surge. Plasma Surge gives them extra life as well. They actually have to make sure they run away from Dave's because these Tempests were just doing so much. And look at that, the other House Tempests are coming in as well. Red side, double the people, could not make a kill right there just because these Tempests are just doing so well. The combination of the Leviathan being able to be healed no matter what, as well as the Tempest doing more and more damage and further away, 600 per shot, means that the red side can attack. In the Interceptors are at the point where they've upgraded 102 damage. That Ghetto is a tank, but it's not able to just fly around willy-nilly as if the Interceptors are not there. Yoda in extreme danger whenever he's anywhere close to these Tempests. If the Tempests and the Interceptors are on the same side of the map as the Overlord's in danger. And there's really not much he can do about it. He can launch his own Mutalisks. His own Mutalisks are kind of good anti-air, but it's like flying a World War II fighter jet versus like a modern day one. You can do it. It's just not going to be great. Beautiful use of Contaminate, slowing down how much damage they do. But look at this. Blue side says, okay, that's cool. We'll do this. We've done this before. We're going to Vortex you. We're going to launch out some Tempests. You know what to do. We know how to retreat. There's less people on the map, but they're not going to attack in the middle of it. Diesel using his Frenzy, doubling the damage that he's doing. He's doing 42 plus 42 versus Massive is 80 versus 80 plus 80. So he's really able to slap down. He is actually, when he's uses his Frenzy, even he can hurt Ghetto, who is the tank. And these Tempests are just too much for this tank to attack and take. He's going to have to rely on his repair bots to get back to base, and that leaves enough time for the blue side to go there. They've done this scenario. They've run this a couple times. They know what to do. They have about 86 seconds left on this Vortex. He has potential of 650, so even though if he gets drained, and even though he will get drained, and even though he has to use his Tempest, which are super expensive energy-wise, he can get back to full energy relatively quickly. He's almost expecting to be drained by the Siphon energy or by Raven feedback. Torpedo is boom, gonna hit the carrier, but most importantly, that also hit the Tempest. The Tempest have to be built up back there again. Again, look how far they are. That they're just back there, but they're still shooting at 18, so that's the range that they have. And the red side just can't really, advance very much further. They're kind of in this weird, stalemate right there, where the Leviathan is just such a good tank at base, and the Vortex is just so helpful of an ability that they don't want to get caught. Because if they get caught at base, while these Tempests and while the Leviathan's at full health, they can really take them out very quickly. Yoda again, the last thing he wants to see is this flock of Interceptors. I'm not sure what the actual name for them. I'm not sure if it's like a Raven or a Crow, Inconvenience or Murder, respectively. But I would say that a flock of Interceptors is probably the right wording right there. John moving back. He's got those afterburners now. What he can possibly do is just really go for Ripwave Warheads, 575 energy, do a bunch of damage to the mothership. If he shoots other people, it's great as well. But what he wants to do is area of effect versus the mothership. 17, 17, 12, 1.92 speed. He's spending all of his money on something. What is he spending on? Laser batteries. Again, 44 damage. He doesn't have any area of effect abilities that can hurt, Interceptors directly. Sure, he can shoot them if they happen to get in the range of the Ripwave warheads, but his anti-interceptors abilities are not that great. We got a Yoda moving in. That is the real Yoda being at these real Interceptors, and with that, the fake Yoda is gonna have to try to be there as well. The frigate and the Dreadnought are going to be out of the vortex right here. We got Interceptors coming on in. Interceptors, let's see what they focus on. And they are just going to do a whole bunch of damage right there. And they are taken out. Okay, good. We got Bruce T, Interceptor, or Tempest. We got the House Tempest. And we got the retreat already happening. They know that they have some time. Vortex. Still about, 100 seconds left. Diesel using his money. 28 armor, 1.81 speeds, fantastic. And he has 60 or 88 regular damage with his slappy tentacles right there. Bruce T. Tempest being used. John, heal. Now what he wants to do is just do damage to this mothership. At this point, Kiddo C is going to dive in there and take a whole bunch of damage as well, but that's not quite enough. He was not able to take out the one more. Now there is one more Tempest. Bruce T can't spawn any more Tempests until that last Tempest is dead. So that actually worked out pretty well. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but that was just right there. John doing damage to the base, slapping down, hitting Diesel, which is good, hitting the base, which is even better, because once his base goes down, they could call that a win. Yoda not wanting to advance. He has some abilities, but he has very little health. Nothing you can do about that as well. He has 22 armor after upgrading 10 times, but 22 isn't that great, and not enough for the 112 damage interceptors. Diesel pushing up, Diesel retreating, staying within this little range. He's being healed. Mothership healing up health. Interceptors moving on in. Interceptors going, deciding what they want to be so much do as like, and attacking John, running away. Not quite enough to take out the entire mothership and everything else. And again, now this vortex is coming up, and once you see this carrier advancing, you know that it's time to retreat. 1.71 speed. Maybe with a little bit more speed, we would have been able to catch them, but not quite. Interceptors being used right there. Let's see how much. I mean, that's some pretty intensive shielding right there. Plague being used. Plague is going to help burn down the interceptors. It won't kill them because it quite can't, but it will make them, instead of 140 life, 140 shields, it will only let them have 140 shields and 1 life. Raven saying we should just siege the damn base, which is a potential thing to do at this point. The rip waves are just splashing down the base as much as possible. Bruce T, the singular Tempest, 760 damage with 31 upgrades. He has 1,000 right there as well, and you know, Diesel doesn't want to attack too much. It looks like maybe the Diesel might have dropped, but it looks like somebody else must be controlling him. We got Bruce T pushing up there. He's going to use his Contaminate, and it does eventually kill them as well. Diesel running away. Bruce T warping back. 1,300, 112 damage on his interceptors. Looks like he put in more money. We're going to guess that goes into Tempest, and it does 760. Let's see, range though, 19 range, so when he puts them in the back of the base, it's just a little bit further. Vortex being used, but Vortex is being used on nobody right there. Now with that, they have the red side has some time where there is not a Vortex available. The Overlord's going to decide to fly into it anyway. Ghetto C is going to try to push up. He's going to use his Protective Field. Protective Field is going to push him as possible. And Diesel being used right there. His own attacks right there against him. John is hit by his own Tempest, or his own torpedo. Diesel didn't want to commit though because he was the lone tank on the one side. And with that, Ghetto's going to have to retreat. He's going to have to use his repair bots again, even after. And will this be enough? We got the Cloak being used as well. Interceptors flying back to base. Leviathan, a whole bunch of health. 20,000 life. Upgraded from 14,000. Bruce T pushing up. The entire red side moving back. They know that once they see these Tempests, they are in a danger zone right there. Raven recharging as much of shield as possible. Now he does upgrade it enough. It's 460. I think it only starts off at 60, so that's a lot of energy or money to put into recharging shields. And it does recharge about 6 per second. So at a certain point, he actually isn't going to be able to heal all the time. It looks like the blue side is advancing, again, using the advantage of the limited terrain that they got right there. And what can they do? Possibly go around the side? I mean, really, like, you know, whatever the only thing they can't do is go through these Tempests. You really cannot push them too much. Raven, the fake Raven being hit. Now, they are going to take them out. The hallucinations do take more damage, but the battle station has already healed up. In this time, will this be enough? The Tempest pushing up there. Blue side being cautious right there, though. They know that something's up. Now, they haven't seen them. They can't see where the red side is all the time, but if they are not being attacked, they kind of have to assume that they're going around the sides. What you don't want to happen is be caught off guard, caught in a sandwich somewhere, and because they weren't being attacked, they decided that was the time to retreat. That's actually really good game senses right there. 1611, almost 1700. You know, money. Let's see what he ends up being used for. Oh, look at that, interceptors. Interceptors, 128 damage, 55 upgrades, 725 backup energy, and even particle disruptors at 24. Why the heck not? And it looks like Mothership is gonna have some time to repair. It's gonna repair the shields a lot faster than it repairs the life. John gonna try to push on up there. He's got his full energy, full abilities, 221 damage, 169 per of splash damage effectively, and 50 against you know, all the interceptors. He's gonna have to still retreat though. 1.92 speed and you know, 7 armor, 23. He's going to try to do some damage. What they're going to, because the interceptors are at the top, they're going to try to use this little side area as much as possible to go around the Tempest, around the Tempest, around the Tempest, not being shot by the Tempest. And will this be quite there? Bruce T going to try to launch his Vortex. Vortex being used against the frigate right there. Yoda not in position to tank whatsoever. The Tempests are going to fly around the side. And with that, Diesel is going to be sucked into the Vortex as well, but that's actually perfectly fine, because that's exactly where he wants to be. He does a bunch of damage at very close range, and the frigate is right on top of him, so that is exactly as close as possible. And with that, Ghetto is going to try to advance towards Bruce T. Bruce T. Tempest not providing protection. Ghetto pushing on up there, and will this be enough? He's going to try to attack. Diesel cannot defend against the entire thing right there. Torpedo being used, Torpedo swimming and missing, not hitting Bruce T by the very barelyness of misses right there. Diesel taking a bunch of damage, 21,000 life, 28 armor is going to be quite good right there. The Bruce T Tempests are now dead, so they now can be put back right there, right in the position where exactly they want to be, again, back in base. Mothership taking a whole bunch of damage, Get OSC taking a whole bunch of damage, shielding being used right there. 460 shields per second is actually really helpful right there. Diesel, again, staying as close as possible, and Get OSC is going to push up, push up, push up, push up. The Mothership has 7 life! The Mothership has 7 life! It's not quite taken out! Get OSC is taken out right there! The Mothership is taken out by John! John's taken out, but then the Bruce T is possibly also taken out as well, maybe! But that's going to be good. And that's going to be the game, and that was a fight to the finish. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Press like, press subscribe. We're in StarCraft Star Battle all the time.